And this is from Pindar's ode, Nemean 6. And it's all about Achilles, one of the most prestigious descendants of this lineage called the Aiakidai, or the Aeacids. And in the words of this lyric master, and we must remember that this particular piece of lyric is being performed by a chorus of singing and dancing participants. In this particular segment of this lyric composition, we see a moment when Achilles is plowing into the ranks of the enemy. And he has been driven up to the point where these foot soldiers, as we hear from the words of Sappho, if we remember that, where these foot soldiers are stationed, he's going to plow right into them. And of course, they're also chariot fighters, and guess whom he encounters? It's Memnon himself, his mortal enemy, in that other epic tradition for which we only have plot outline. Anyway, again, I worked eternities on this translation, so let me try it. And the name of the lineage of the Aiakidai, especially the name of Achilles, leapt at the Ethiopians, now that Memnon would not be coming back safely to his troops. Heavy combat fell upon the Ethiopians in the person of Achilles, hitting the ground as he stepped down Katabainen from his chariot. That was when he killed Memnon, the son of the luminous dawn goddess, with the tip of his raging spear. Typical lyric narrative where if you saw this kind of narrative in epic and you went through all the actions A through Z, it would take you about half an hour. And what? This takes the lyric master maybe 1 minute, minute and a half for his performers to perform. And so there's a lot of compression. And instead of going A, B, C, it's more like A, D, LMN, X, Y, Z.
So everything in the middle, though, the listeners know it's there, right?
It's
so
all
even
there.
absent, it's present.
Every, so to speak, letter from A to Z is there, but we get to hear only parts of it. And it's very much like the way you and I dream. I think when we have a dream of a story, we tend to skip various important parts of the story in our dreams, just as lyric skips. But there's a logic to the skipping, just as there's an organic reason for why we skip in dreams from,
And the things that are skipped can be pointed towards, just because they're
Sure.
being skipped.
Yeah, that's it. It's exactly it. And so that's what's going on here. There are all sorts of things we're not being told explicitly, how Achilles is riding on a chariot, and then he steps off the chariot, and the chariot is speeding. And I would guess the chariot is making a U-turn counterclockwise. Just as he's jumping off, I can see maybe the chariot of Memnon rushing towards him, but they're also foot soldiers. He's plowing into the whole mass of enemy with his terrific speed, which is propelled by the fact that he has jumped off and hit the ground running, which really propels him towards the enemy. So it's a terrific moment. And as lyric does, it just squeezes and squeezes and squeezes. So even the subject of the sentence, Achilles, is, oh, the name of the lineage of the Aiakidai. The name jumped off instead of the hero jumped off fully armed. Or let's look at other examples where there are all sorts of things that just don't seem to be there, like heavy combat fell upon them. Well, they're the masses of enemy, but the focus is on them instead of Achilles being single-handedly the agent of this mass slaughter as it's imagined here. And then we do get a very nice glimpse of Achilles actually putting one foot down.
That hitting the ground.
That hitting the ground, that is there in the lyric. So
can I follow up on that?
Yes.
So that hitting the ground, I mean, as a first-time reader, we're reading some
Yeah.
poetry that might not hit us, that
Yeah.
might not strike us as something important, but because it's the repetition,
Yeah.
those repetitions are teaching us how
Yes.
to fill in the blanks around.
that's exactly it. And it's all a matter of timing. It's all a matter of what's being highlighted, what's being shaded over. And then I think even the part where the killing of Memnon happens with the tip of his raging spear, instead of, can you imagine all the details we would get in epic? Instead of all those details, we
get
just
the
have
story.
we just have that tip of the spear. It goes into Memnon.
Right.
End of story.
But again, we have the luminous dawn goddess here, so we have this
yes.
radiance again, right?
Yes. And Achilles here is killing arguably the most charismatic hero next to Achilles himself. This hero is the son of the dawn goddess. Doesn't get better than that.
Yep.